Hi, I'm June. It's been such a long time since I've done a video. It's been probably 5 to 6 months since I've done a painting video because that was my beginner stage of painting, and I'm still learning and exploring, and it's been really fun. It integrates everything that I've talked about in the past. So I love videos in the past that I've shared because it's the same fundamental things that have helped when I would teach the game of golf. My early stage of starting off, learning how to use a brush and stuff, I've been just teaching myself just because of the fact that I integrated what I teach my students in golf and how I've used it to apply to improve other things in life. You'll see freediving videos and things like that. So I just figured, you know what, I'm gonna do another painting video, and maybe that's what I'm gonna do moving forward and then sprinkle on other videos. But it's a good opportunity for me to share the process. I always say enjoy the process because most of life is in the process. And I've talked about other things outside of golf, and I think this is a great opportunity because I put these videos not to have everyone play the game of golf. It's really not about that. It's really to get people to enjoy nature. There's so much you can learn from nature. To show how progression can happen, and more importantly, not even to improve and elevate, but to enjoy the process. And within it, there are a ton of mistakes, but within that mistake, you can either, it's so strange, like I've made a ton of mistakes because I've self-taught myself, and it's good. It's like you can make things even better. It's like, whoa, what happened? That's so cool. Or you go, oh, okay, that's maybe something I shouldn't do. But sometimes you got to do it several times to realize, is it really a mistake? So I love sharing this because it's really a real process. And it's something that I didn't realize I had to teach this, but I did while teaching golf, is how to overcome, how to improve, things like that. So this isn't an art tutorial. It's really just showing, and also like you can just enjoy, you know, the process. And I will share some of the things that have helped people just really enjoy the process. It's not even about improving. It's just enjoying what you're doing. Oh, one more. I like to go with the flow of what happens within the painting. I'm going to associate sometimes, a lot of times, as you notice in these videos, where I associate golf to other activities, and I'm going to associate painting and art to golf and sports. It's all connected. And I applied what I do with my students is do the right fundamental things, just the good, solid basics. And basics can be challenging to understand if it's not the right sort of basic. So you need to build just a basic, solid foundation, and then make a ton of, like creative mistakes while you're learning the basics. So I've noticed my artwork will shift because sometimes I'll go in it having an idea of what I want to paint, but it could be that same idea, but within it there's so much that can come about. And that's the beauty of it. I allow it to happen. And within that, I'm able to learn and explore. So this is sort of a big no-no sometimes when it comes to watercolor. I use a little bit of gouache as well, but primarily watercolor. And you usually, from what I've come across, is you usually go backwards to what oil painting and acrylics, where those mediums you can layer, so you can go from dark to light to highlight. Watercolor is encouraged to go light to dark, and I do those kind of paintings too. But I, like with the game of golf, you want to try different things to see which one is right when you're out there, because there's so many different types of grass and undulations and terrain, things like that. I like to explore and do things wrong to see if it's really wrong. And I even, you'll see here, like you're not supposed to really use black in any kind of painting. You can, but a lot of artists talk about like how you can create paint from like phthalo blue with red and things like that. And I've done that and I love it. I love how it's not so stark. But I still love using black at times because it creates that depth in a way that I like. It's very individualistic when it comes to art, but I really believe that with sports as well. The reason I really encourage what I teach, the one swing and the proper fundamentals, there's certain fundamentals, all fundamentals aren't created equal, but it requires the entire body, so it's really important so that you don't injure yourself and things like that. So I've talked about that in videos. I won't go into it too much. These videos, in the end, like all tie in. It's the same stuff. But I feel like I have like a basic foundation with watercolor, and so I explore. So this can also be like for people that have not gone to that exploration. Like if you're told not to use black, you don't use it. But you can see here, it can be done. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't have to do it. But at least somebody is exploring for you. And yeah, putting dark on top of light and then adding light on top of that later, you'll see. It's not really encouraged in watercolor at times. It really just kind of, a lot of the things that you'll see, it's certainly an exploration that I did, trial and error. And that's what I encourage when I teach golf. Like, do the right things, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of learning. What you shouldn't do is put yellow if you're going to create. I'm going to try to add some blue into the sky because yellow and blue make green, and you don't want a green sky. But at the same time, I see a tint of green sometimes from the ocean when I'm in the ocean itself. And so I'm not so afraid of it, but also like there's ways to blend it where it doesn't turn fully green. So yeah, I'm breaking all the rules. But I mean, there's got to be, I'm sure, like art communities that encourage that, right? Because you don't want everything to look the same. And it's like the one swing, like there was a misconception, like, oh, you're just trying to make everybody swing the same way. And I'm like, no. There's certain fundamentals. When you do that, allows your own original tempo and rhythm to shine through. And even if everyone tried to do the same swing, it's just, it won't look the same. It's just, we all have different ways of doing things. It's like this brush right here. It's not really for laying out the background of a painting. But I'm using it today. It's not something I use every time. Every brush you see here, I've used them so many times in so many different ways. And just like golf, I do encourage, like, as you get better, you use better quality golf clubs, but at the same time, like, get your swing down, you know. And this applies to artwork. This brush that I'm using costs very little. It came with a set. And so just because something is expensive, there's some semi-expensive brushes that I ended up not liking, and some I love. So it all depends on the feel and what you're doing. I have some brushes, the whole set was $20, and I don't like every single brush in that set, but man, like this one right here, Artified, which I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but this whole set was, I think, like a little over $20. I have this love for nature and especially the sky. So my vision of it is so free-flowing because there's no one way to paint the sky. There's unlimited, you know, I've seen the sky from so many different golf courses too, in different states and part of the country, especially because the golf ball goes up towards the sky. And I notice, like when I'm teaching, I remind people to take their time to not only look at the golf ball, but look up at the sky. And I always remind my students to, like, oh wow, look at that cloud pattern, you know, things like that, because that's part of the enjoyment of the process. And that's something that I hope my videos show that, because that's why I do what I do. That's why the Jun's Golf channel has so many different things, because it's all kind of the same thing, to enjoy the process. I'm gonna do one across here. I mean, I really mean it. Like, I know people talk about it, but are they really, you know? But I really mean it when I say, like, I enjoy, and you can even, like, reflect and things like that, but I really enjoy washing the dishes. If it was entertaining for people, I would do a video on washing dishes and how much I enjoy it. But it's not just washing dishes, it's many other things. But you'll see Jeep videos and things like that, and it's not something I did as a trend. It's something I still do. We still go off-roading. Jay is still hopping along. She's turning 21.
Careful.
And she
No, okay.
is doing good. And I literally, like, discovered, you know, so many ways to create a wave. There isn't just one way. You know, you have to do it this way. I mean, there's so many ways, and I just discovered things by just daring to do something different. When I'm in the ocean, you're right there, and I'm still very afraid of it. You know, you've seen my videos where I'm free diving, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. It wasn't easy to get through that. It was really a moving meditation that I talk about in golf when I teach or when I practice. I came across it one day. I was just like, this is moving meditation. And I realized I've always done it. You know, that's how you improve. And it's not even about improvement. Again, it's just about enjoying the process. So some beaches or ocean, when you look into it as it gets more shallow, you can see different things. And the reason I laid out some dark colors and black is there are some areas with lava rocks here, and so that's why I wanted this one to be like you can see some things going on underneath. There's some depth, and so what I'll do is I want to create a wave. So like right there. laid out some black. I like the color of black. um, even cars and stuff. I like every color. I am going to have this water be like some green, lots of green. So when it rolls over, it's many different colors. I mean, there can be like turquoise. It can be a blue turquoise, a green turquoise. Sometimes it's just, like a cobalt blue color. So it all depends on the day and the type of wave. And to get to this point, it's so cool that I can create like an artwork, golf, or jeeping, or everything, freediving, snorkeling, all that stuff, as a metaphor for how to overcome things. Because when I was creating this, like right now, it still looks messy, and you can easily give up, and it can end up completely messy, and then you have to either figure it out or start over. But it's fun to figure it out too. But it's like, okay, that does not look good. But then you keep going. Maybe it will end up not looking good, but you've learned something from it, and then you can take it away. Or sometimes it can look really bad, and you just keep going, and then it's like, oh wow, that looks better than my other way that I created, you know? And so it's just like you just keep going. So I'm going to create finally going to use another brush, the one I told you about. Price is really good on this one. So yeah, this is kind of like a reenactment of when I thought I had screwed up, and then I just kept playing with it, and it turned out really pretty and different. And part of artwork, I really think we should explore and then share and make it our own, you know, our own like original stuff. And but my whole thing was I wanted something to look like the water when I'm in it or when I'm looking at it. It's like there's something translucent about it. And create that look, you know? And the way I'm going about it is a way that seems actually like not the way to go. Like you would think if you want something translucent, it should be light and flowy and light, like love and light, you know? Um, but sometimes, a lot of times, especially artwork, you'll see it clearly. Like it's the darkness that allows the light to shine through. Such is life, right? And so, yeah, I've always liked like when you see a wave, um, maybe you'll see it differently next time when you ever come across a wave, but you don't even have to be somewhere where there is a wave. You can even like see it when you're washing dishes. But water has this like, you think it's white, you think it's all light, but there is a lot of dark and gray, and sometimes you'll see black. And I know, like in the art world, sometimes they say there is no black, you can't use black. But I really think you can. But it's not about being right or wrong. I get it. You know, like this painting may look even better with not using black, but I've tried it. I certainly have like avoided black, used a darker blue with a mixture of things, and just keep going back to black. But we all have our own visions, right? I know there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on personally as well, and you want to have where you can have time for yourself and reflect and not be too absorbed um, on the news and things like that. What's going on, but also take care of yourself and get in a meditative state. And I'm telling you, like, even when I'm cleaning, but like it can be meditative that way. I think working out is great too. People who work out, but sometimes I encourage people to do it in a meditative way. Meaning, what I mean by meditative is just being more present, so that you protect your body. You prevent injuries and things like that. Just do the right motion. If something hurts, be aware of it, and, and but I think those kind of activities are all so good for you. It's not just about calming the mind, the body. We are gifted with that, and it's good. It's good to use it, but in a purposeful way, I could go on and on with this, but I don't want to make this video too long, so I may dabble with it later. It's just the wave is becoming its own. Yeah, I want to keep going, but I gotta do the bottom part for this video. So yeah, I've noticed every painting that I do, some take longer than others. Some they happen with a few swipes, but somehow with artwork, it's like when I practice golf. It's like you don't know when it ends. It just, you feel complete at some point. But this could certainly go on and on because See, like, I could have stopped, but I don't know why, but I see a lot of suds, in some of these waves that you see out there. Like, sometimes they're a smooth wave, but sometimes there's like a lot of suds. It's a happy Ross. Um, he had those like happy trees. Um, these are happy waves. This one's just a good time. Alright, so okay. I keep telling myself like stop because the video is gonna get too long. But oh well. I can always take some parts out, I guess. We'll see. And this is what I've always encouraged people, and it's really hard for people when they're practicing golf and things like that is, or any sport or anything, is sometimes you can get afraid of change and trying something new. And so like when you keep improving, like what I notice with my students as they improve, they're not afraid to take it to many levels, because there's a fun part of that too. There's a fun part of like, oh wow, I can do that. And to not be afraid of that. So yeah, like this is turning out better. I laid out like almost too much water, and then see how you can kind of take that and go, okay, what am I going to do with that? Golf is like that. Like you could hit a perfect shot, the wind takes the ball, or it's not this perfect layout of a golf course. It's always different. Nature plays the part. You could hit a perfect shot and land in a big divot or hole, and or in the water, and you figure out, okay, should I hit out of this water? And it's good to explore. That's why I think I'm not afraid to make mud. They call that a big no-no in the art world. Like, don't make mud, and I think it's great, like when they're teaching and it's like, don't mix these colors and don't layer too much and stuff like that. But I've explored. I'm like, can you? How much can you layer? Even paper. This paper is going to buckle a little bit because I'm using a lot of layers in water, but it'll straighten out later. I've tested a lot with paper and ways. And so but yeah, like with nature, there's so much. The reason I'm not afraid of mud is there's lots of dirt and soil and what looks like mud, and actually have driven through a lot of mud with the Jeep. So I think there's beauty in that dirt, you know, and so I'm not afraid to have it appear in a painting because that's part of nature. So this is 24K. He's a wild gecko that comes in and he loves when I paint. This is so funny. You get to meet 24K. They're gonna think that you're superimposed because of all this AI stuff, but you're real. He's real. I promise. Like, what can we do to prove that you're real? Do you want to ride the waves? Okay. Let me see if my mic's on. Okay. All right, I didn't mean to scare you. I had to like turn the camera on. Let's see if this one is still on. Okay. You'll see 24K. He's here. So 24K is... Come here. He's not superimposed, like he's a real gecko. He's a wild gecko from outside, and he came in one day, and he loves when I paint. He'll like look at it, walk all over it. Do you see him? He's right behind his water. That's his water. Do you want some bread? I have some bread for him. Do you see him? Hi, 24K. I named him 24K because he's got these gold specks on his back. They call it, the kind of gecko he is something like gold dust day gecko or lizard. See, he likes to look at me paint, and then he'll like a lot of times walk on it. So he goes like all the way up the easel, look at it from all sides. Yeah. It's too funny. I'm glad you got a chance to meet 24K. So yeah, I named him that after I saw all those like gold specks on his back. He's just right there. Where'd he go? So he came in one day and I was eating persimmons and kiwi, and a student of mine had sent it a box of them from California, and it's so like delicious and perfect. And I was eating it and he comes in and he's looking at me, so I give some to him and he just loved, especially the persimmons. And so he'd come in like every day or every other day, and I would give some to him. At some point I ran out, but I can understand like him really liking the persimmons just because you don't see it just readily out there. Like he gets fresh fruit, you know, there's banana trees and things like that. So it was just not a local fruit. So he's just like, this is great. We don't get these here. So now he loves bread. Like I've given him different things. Like I've given him other fruits. He's like, yeah, you know, I can get that out there. But he loves bread. So at first I was like, you know, maybe that's not good for him. But I see lizards and stuff in trash cans and all that. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'd rather him eat fresh bread than digging it out of the trash. No idea where he went. He normally walks around the easel and comes back down this way. All right. There he is. Come on, 24K. Here, let me give him some bread so you can see him. Oops. Come here. I'll be done soon. I'm going to maybe mess with it some more later, and then I'll show you the end result. But it's one of those paintings where, like I told you, I never put a limit on like how long something should take, and so I didn't expect this to be that long, but I just feel like it wants to keep going. He's coming down. See him in the corner of my eyes. I'll paint a little bit longer so you can see him. He's ready to jump. Come on, go ahead and jump. There he is. He's so beautiful. So yeah, he comes in. I let him come in. I do have a cat, but he's really street smart, obviously. So, and then he'll eat, he'll hang out, sometimes ride the waves. It's funny because I thought he just would be here to eat, but there's been times where he'll come and I'll have like a blank sheet of paper or nothing on here other than the board, and he'll come in and look and then walk back out. So I'm like, wow, you're not just here for food, are you? He's just funny. I'll keep going. Maybe like I'll edit out something so it's not taking so long, or it won't be a long video. With all this AI stuff, I hope you believe that he's real. Like, he's real. Like, I wouldn't have that kind of technology to create a gecko like that. Let me get some more white. I don't want to scare him. Hi, 24K. Look at that smile. All right, here we go. Yeah, so it's kind of, are you going to take that with you? Oh my goodness. He'll probably drop it. He tries to take it. I need to cut it smaller. And then he'll sometimes drop it, and then Nalu would eat it. Yeah, and the other sort of exploration was just seeing how much a paint can take, and on top of like paper, and it can take a lot. So when you see me paint, you'll see like the paper buckling, and when it happens, and you know, it is something that is an issue, it seems like, for watercolors, but I've discovered that, you know, certain types of paper, it doesn't always have to be the expensive kind. There are ones that are like not very expensive, and they'll buckle just as much as the expensive ones, and then it'll like flatten again. So I kind of like played around with that too, because it's something that's like a big issue too. It's like, don't use too much or don't do too much, you know, with adding water and paint, because the paper can buckle. But I wanted to see like, okay, how much, you know, can it handle? But that's with anything, like whatever you learn, test it out for yourself. Almost done. Let's see. like it. That's fun. I think the only thing I may do is kind of do a little bit of a touch-up. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I added some final touches to the artwork. The sky is softer, it's blended, more diffused, with the sunset glow on the ocean and the waves. And I also waxed the artwork to Nalu. Shh. The art to protect the artwork, especially from water. What happens is you can drop water on it and it'll just bead off. It's wonderful. So I waxed the artwork. Everything is good to go. So I'm really excited to share and inspire more artwork with you next time. All right, take care. Nalu says hi as well. Peace.